Hello everybody, Razorblade Mango here, and welcome to another episode of Popcorn Mango. And today I'm going to be covering what is probably my most anticipated film of the year, along with Star Wars Rogue One. And that would be Suicide Squad, which is the latest entry in the DC Extended Universe saga, where they want to compete with Marvel. This is the third film in their cinematic universe. First one being the boring as hell Man of Steel. Second being the criminally underappreciated, underrated Batman vs. Superman. I love Batman vs. Superman, so I mean, if that immediately discredits my opinion of Suicide Squad, then that's okay. That's fine with me. You don't need to hear my opinion if you are somebody that thinks like that. That's okay. But yeah, Suicide Squad, let's not beat around the bush here. This movie was botched. This movie, someone came in and fucked with it hardcore. I don't know who. Rumor has it that DC and Warner Brothers panicked regarding the reception to Batman vs. Superman. So they had the company that made the trailer for the Bohemian Rhapsody trailer for Suicide Squad. They had that company come in and redo the entire movie practically, like make a new cut of it. Like they had David Ayer, who was the original writer and director, come in and make his own edit. And then they had another company, which was the company that made the trailer, do their own edit of the movie. And Warner Brothers compared the two, and the trailer edit version won. And that's the version, apparently, that we're seeing in theaters. Although David Ayer has said time and time again that, hey, you know, the version you're seeing is the version that I wanted you all to see. I'm sorry, I don't believe it. Not after actually seeing the movie. I don't believe it, because this movie is a fucking mess. It is a confusing, wildly tonally inconsistent, narratively incoherent, just all around mess of a film. It makes very little to no sense. You can tell that portions of scenes were cut out of the film. Things were just added in that feel completely out of place, such as the random weird jokes that are in the movie. I know a big part of the trailer edit version was that they were adding more, quote, humor to the film in order to make it more like what Marvel does, specifically like Guardians of the Galaxy. So, but all around, like even from the very beginning, my jaw dropped when I saw how sloppy the opening bits are. And this isn't just a movie. This isn't just a movie where they're introducing like a new hero. This is a movie where they gotta reintroduce the Joker. They gotta introduce Deadshot. They gotta introduce Harley Quinn. They gotta introduce Amanda Waller. They gotta introduce Rick Flag. They gotta introduce Enchantress, Captain Boomerang, Killer Croc, all these different people. And the way they do that is by throwing in as many mini origin stories as possible in the first 10 minutes of the movie, set to this really inconsistent soundtrack that swings back and forth and back and forth. I mean, I'll give you an example. Actually, no, I'll just say the music acts. Like every time a new character pops up, every time a new scene happens, it's not an orchestral score that's playing. It's like they just, whatever rights to songs Warner Brothers had, they just threw it into the film. Like the soundtrack is all over the fucking place. It goes from Rick Ross to Queen to Eminem to Kanye West to AC/DC to Creedence Clearwater Revival, and on and on and on. Just all these songs that like the most obvious choices you could have made. So what's playing when they're all getting dressed up, ready to suit up? They're playing Without Me by Eminem, because that music video has Eminem dressed up as a superhero doing his thing. What do they play when they get Captain Boomerang involved? Oh, Dirty Deeds by AC/DC. Yeah, I wonder what that's referencing. Very smart there. And it's, when they had a lot of established songs in Guardians of the Galaxy, it was because Star-Lord had them on his tape. You know, and the movie itself, it's a fun, light comedy, a fun, light action comedy. And having all the songs, like, like they got a Cherry Bomb, Hooked on a Feeling, Come and Get Your Love, all that stuff, it felt right within the world of the Guardians of the Galaxy, because that's the tone that they were going for. Right from the get-go, you got the tone. The soundtrack matches the tone. See how that works? In DC's brain, the way they look at Suicide Squad, they go, oh, well, Guardians of the Galaxy had all these different songs. Let's just throw in whatever. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work having a soundtrack that has Queen, Rick Ross, Kanye West, Eminem, AC/DC, Creedence Clearwater Revival, the Ramones, just all this shit. It feels weird. And then they've got all these origin stories. The way they handle Harley Quinn's origin story is the worst of the bunch. Hers is the most famous out of all, like the most well-known origin story, I think, out of all these supervillains. And the way they do that is they just have it be these quick edits where you see her being seduced by the Joker, and then the Joker, there's the bit in the trailer where he goes, oh, I'm not gonna hurt you. I mean, I'm not gonna kill you, I'm just gonna hurt you. And that's the Harley Quinn origin story. It's spoiler, it's her being tortured by the Joker. So you have that, and then they bring in like origin stories for Captain Boomerang. They bring in origin stories for Katana. They bring in origin stories for the Enchantress, and it just goes on and on and on until you're just sick of it. You just want them to get the fucking team together and start shooting at things. It's just this unnecessarily long and sloppily edited origin setup for all of these characters. And what a waste of talent. Really, the way these characters are written. I don't know if the writing itself is good, or if it's just the way the trailer company came in and fucked with the flow of the movie in order to put all these different scenes in it, because you've got moments where, the characters will be like bickering and arguing, and that's a big part of the movie. The characters will just bicker amongst themselves, bicker with Rick Flag, El Diablo and Deadshot will bicker, and you got Harley Quinn being a smartass, and then by the end of the movie, it's like, oh, well, we're family, we're friends, and I'm going, where the fuck did that come from? Where the fuck did that come from? Where these supervillains actually give a shit about each other to where they're willing to sacrifice themselves. How did we come to this? It's like, it feels like big portions of this movie were missing altogether. And, there's just narratively, tonally, musically, it is all over the place. It is probably the biggest tonal mess I've seen in forever. One moment it wants to be this dark, gritty movie. The next minute it wants to be a light, bubbly comedy. Then it swings right back around to dark and disturbing. Then it swings right back around to light and bubbly. And it's like, guys, pick one thing and stick with it. Okay? Like, say what you will about Batman versus Superman. Okay? And if you say Batman vs. Superman is worse than this, I don't know what to say. I can't believe that. So I can't believe anyone would think Suicide Squad is better than Batman vs. Superman. Say what you will about Batman vs. Superman. Batman vs. Superman had one tone, dark, stuck with it throughout the entire thing. Yeah, you had like a mild joke here and there, but it was one tone throughout the whole thing. It didn't swing back and forth between funny and dark and lighthearted and serious. It was just one thing. One singular strong vision. And this movie in Suicide Squad, it is the vision of Ayer mixed with the vision of what Warner Brothers and DC wanted. So it's this clash of visions. And it's this Aesop's fables has been, you know, trying to bring this message along, where it's, if you try to please everybody, you're gonna end up pleasing nobody. And that's the biggest problem with Suicide Squad as far as the tone goes. It tries to please the Marvel crowd. It tries to please the people that like DC. Tries to please the action junkies. Tries to please the comedy junkies. And it ends up pleasing nobody because it doesn't do any of that right. The action is not good, aside from maybe a scene or two that felt inspired. Everything else just was flat. It was filmed way too up close. There's a part in this when it's in the trailer when Batman shows up and he has a brief fist fight, and it's an awful fight because Ayer has to. I don't know if this is Ayer's doing or if this is the studio edit, where they cut on every punch so you never get the full weight of Batman and Deadshot's fight in the movie. And this happens very early on, so this is not a spoiler. So it's so bad. And then you look at Batman versus Superman, you look at the warehouse fight, you look at the nightmare fight, clear, concise. The camera is pulled back, full widescreen. You can see all the punching and the shooting and the kicking, and it looks amazing. And then you go to Suicide Squad, and they completely fuck up how Batman fights, or how any of these characters fight. And it's just not good. And don't even get me started on the fucking ending. Like, the fucking last 20-30 minutes of the movie is so lame and so misjudged and poorly written that whatever hope I had left for the movie, just, it got flushed down the toilet. It's like, goodbye, you're done. You're done, Suicide Squad. You've lost me. So I guess I'll start talking about the characters. I'll just get the villains out of the way. The villains fucking suck. I mean, you think Lex Luthor is Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor is a bad villain? Fuck no. Lex Luthor is fucking Heath Ledger as the Joker compared to these villains in this movie. You've got the Enchantress, who's super lame. You've got her brother, this like retarded CGI monster thing that looks laughably ridiculous. And that's about it. They're not memorable. They don't say anything that you're gonna, quote years from now. They're just generic villains 101. They are so boring. They are boring ass villains. And you had a villain that you could have used. You could have used the Joker, and the Joker is barely in the movie. The Joker makes a cameo. He's a cameo at best. I mean, his introduction into it, when they introduced the Joker in The Dark Knight, it was creepy. It was memorable. It began with a bang. It was this awesome line where he has the bank manager on the ground, and the Joker takes his mask off and goes, I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger. And that's, that's power. That's acting. That's how you make an entrance. And Jared Leto, his entrance in this movie, he's just sitting at a table talking. There's no sense of presence with the Joker in this movie. He's not scary to me. And that, I think, is the biggest this movie. And I'm not even that big of a fan of the Jack Nicholson Joker, but you know what? At least he was intimidating. You understood why he was intimidating, and he felt like the Joker. At least to a certain extent, Jack Nicholson felt like the Joker. Jared Leto does not feel like the Joker in this movie. Jared Leto, he could have come in and played a completely new villain that just happened to look like the Joker, and I wouldn't have known the difference. And it doesn't have to do with his outfit or his design. It has nothing to do with the fact that he's like a hip-hop gangster version of the Joker, which, in the right hands with the right script, could have been really good. But the problem is, they sideline the Joker so much. He's in the movie maybe only about 6 minutes, and that's if I'm being generous. Maybe 6 to 7 minutes he's in the movie. Like, very few snippets. So if you're going into this movie to see Jared Leto's performance as the Joker, you might want to save your money because he's barely in the fucking thing. And I couldn't even get a good read on whether he gave a good performance or not. I mean, he's gone on and on and on. Jared Leto's gone on and on and on about how, into character he got and how much of a method actor he became, where he looked up the works of shamanism and listened to opera to stay in character. And it was just, I mean, reading it on paper, you're like, okay, maybe this could transform into a good performance. People sneered when Heath Ledger was tapped to be the Joker. People went, ugh, that pretty boy is going to be the Joker? The guy that was in Lords of Dogtown and Brokeback Mountain, for real? A Knight's Tale? He's going to be the Joker? And now Heath Ledger is like widely considered to be probably the most popular version of the Joker put on screen. And Jared Leto, it's different. He does a very different thing. He sounds more like an animal, like a wheezing hyena more than the Joker. And moments with the Joker that looked cool in the trailer, like when he baptizes Harley Quinn in the vat of chemicals, and that was the image that sold me on the movie. You could have just shown me that image of him, like it's some kind of priest baptizing somebody, and he baptizes her in the chemicals, and when she comes out, you see the coloring where you see like the heart shape around them, which, by the way, is not in the movie. That heart shaped, I don't know what happened to it, but the shit that was in the movie, the outline between them, not a heart. So it kind of it was a really great thing in the trailer, but it just didn't really do anything for me in the movie. And this came like an hour into the movie already by the time I was like, okay, this is not going to be any good. So the other performances, you're going to hear that, Margot Robbie stole the movie or that Will Smith stole the movie. I disagree. And while they are good, particularly Margot Robbie, who is good as Harley Quinn, I wouldn't say great, but she is good. I'd say Viola Davis was the best part of this movie. Her portrayal of Amanda Waller is exactly what I hoped it was going to be. She is scary. She is fierce. She is very evil. You don't like her, but you can respect how wild and determined she is to do her job. I mean, she is a powerful figure in the DC comics, and Viola Davis portrays her to a T almost. It's great. Whenever she's on screen, the movie is not great, but it is awesome to see her work as Waller in this. They did dead on casting with her. What's sad about the other performers is that you've got, decent actors involved. Like I said, Jared Leto's the Joker, who's just you got Joel Kinnaman, I think that's his name. Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag, and I don't mind him all that much. I think he's okay in certain stuff, and he's all right as Rick Flag, but again, he's written really dumb. He's just written so badly. Jai Courtney, who I usually hate, I hated him in Terminator Genesis. I hated him in the last Die Hard movie, but he has swagger. He's got, charisma as Captain Boomerang, but again, they don't write him very well. They don't write any of these characters very well. Jay Hernandez as El Diablo. He's okay. Adewale Akinoue Agbaji, I always forget how to mispronounce. Basically, Mr. Echo from Lost. He's in it as Killer Croc, and he barely gets a line in. He just stands there and grimaces most of the time, and it's such a waste. It's such a waste of potential and talent, and the whole movie just let me down. I really wanted this to be good. Even when the bad reviews came in, I went, no, people hated on Batman vs Superman, and I think that's a great movie. So, these DC movies just might be for me. No, fuck that. This movie sucks. Suicide Squad is lame as all hell, and I don't put the blame on David Ayer, because it's widely considered to be a studio edit of the movie, and it's very obvious that yes, it is, despite what David Ayer will be like, oh no, this is the edit I wanted everyone to see. You'd have to be a fucking talentless hack to expect us to think this is the version that you made, David Ayer. No, it ain't. So I hope a few years from now we get some kind of director's cut of what Suicide Squad really was going to be like. I mean, they put out the Ultimate Edition for Batman vs. Superman, and that improved the movie. So, maybe we'll get a director's cut of Suicide Squad. Maybe. I mean, there are stylistic choices here that, with better editing, with better writing, with better structure, could have been really cool. But the problem is, it's not. It is all over the fucking place in terms of storytelling, tone, music, character development, everything. Everything just feels wrong. And it just ends up being a generic superhero movie, I guess. In this case, a supervillain movie. And the sad part is they had a template to work from. They had Batman, Assault on Arkham, which is, a decent movie. When I first saw it, I think it was like 2 years ago it came out. When I saw it back then, I thought it was just okay, but maybe going back to it now, I'd like it a lot more. And, that movie was a good template for what this should have been. They shouldn't have had the Empress, the Enchantress and her stupid brother as the villains. They should have given the Joker the villain role. In fact, I don't even know why the Suicide Squad was assembled for this assignment. And you'll understand what I mean if you see the movie, but the threat they have to face, when you really look at it, there is no purpose. There's nothing these characters could do except for one. If they had recruited El Diablo, because he's the only one that has any form of real showy superpowers. And all the other ones, Harley Quinn, maybe Deadshot, especially Killer Croc, Slipknot, Katana, all of them, they're just useless. They don't feel like a team. And that brings the whole movie down when they start talking about, we're friends, we're family. And I'm going, how? How in God's name are you now deciding that you're considering yourselves friends and families, and all you've done throughout the movie is just fight some meaningless drones and do the occasional one-liner. Again, I hope they are smart enough to release some kind of director's cut of the movie. And maybe next time, DC, Warner Brothers, don't fuck with the director's cut of the movie. Let the people you hire do their fucking thing, and you stay out of it. Just do the marketing, let David Ayer do his thing, let Zack Snyder do his thing, okay? So, lesson learned with Suicide Squad. If you're scared of it being a powerful vision, well, then maybe don't make the movie to begin with. If you're scared of the people you hire, don't hire them. Just make the movie yourself. Don't even have a director. Just make it an assembly line cut of the movie. So, So, Suicide Squad. Would I recommend it? Absolutely not. And this comes with a heavy heart because I was really looking forward to it, and I really loved especially the Queen trailer. I mean, even though the movie turned out to be shit, that trailer is exceptional. So I'd say just stay home and watch the trailer again and just imagine a better movie in your head, because what they ended up with was extremely disappointing. Biggest disappointment of 2016, hands down. Easily the biggest letdown. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you like what you see, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of Suicide Squad if you've seen it. And as always, have a good one, guys. Take care.